Well, welcome. It is Backstage with Geoffrey Morrissey. I am your host, Geoffrey Morrissey. It's kind of nice, though. We are not backstage today. We are in the lovely WATD studios, but even better, we're joined by Darwin Deez. Darwin, how are you today?
We're joined by me, actually.
By you? On an RE20 microphone.
On the Electro Voice, pristine RE20 microphone.
See,
just as good as an FM7, but lighter in color.
Lighter in color?
You may have seen this microphone in the Scotch Mist sessions by Radiohead on YouTube.
Wow. Even if you made that up, that was impressive. To know the different types of microphones. I wish I was more of an audiophile. I'm kind of remiss that I'm not being in radio.
The RE20 just looks different in a lot of mics. And you're like, ooh, is that good? Because Tom York's using it. And then you learn that.
And then you learn that. Well, we will do as Tom York does, but you're sort of embarking on this really cool concept of a living room tour. That's sort of what brings you to the South Shore of Massachusetts. What inspired you to sort of head out on the road and play in the middle of people's living rooms?
What did inspire that? I don't know. I just want to shout out this band called Knower, because they're a duo from LA, very DIY focused electronic music, with some really beautiful melodic and harmonic composition chops, and Lewis Cole, one of the guys in it, is like a really good drummer, a really good keyboard player, and Genevieve, the singer, is also a really good composer, really good. They have a very sophisticated sense of how to make music, and that's something that I got into recently, and their like appreciation for all things DIY is maybe part of what inspired it. But I think it's mostly just like, hey, I finished writing this record, basically. I think it's done, and now what? Let's do shows. And because the label wasn't ready to put it out, I was like, well, we can't really do like big shows, because we're not going to be hiring publicists and all that. It's not going to be the whole machine behind us. So, rather than deal with, like, if I'm going to set up the shows, rather than deal with promoting them and on top of, like, playing them and on top of setting them up, I then also have to promote them and make sure we get people in the shows. That's too much work. So I figured, look, if we do a show in someone's living room for 8 people, it can be amazing. And then I don't have to worry about, don't have to take any risks of, like, this promoter is unhappy because we only brought 15 people to this like 150 cap room. So that's kind of the main thing. Is like, I just want to not worry about that. We'll show up. I'll train the band how to play the songs. We'll show up. We'll do it. Give us some money. I'll lose money. It's fine. But that I'll have something to do in June that relates to like my career, and that's kind of what I want to be doing right now. So.
Totally. And now, did you bring a band out on the road, or are people just sort of meeting you along the way to play the music?
Oh yeah. I brought my homies Tim and Greg. They're just getting some bagels right now, because I figure like I'm the one that does the talking in these anyway. So it's breakfast time, so they're just gonna do that. So they're just gonna get some food and come pick me up.
Well, I mean, when you're in the land of Dunkin Donuts, you have to, stop by and go to Dunkin Donuts. I think we passed 4 on the 12-minute drive here, so.
Well, I saw something better. What was that place that right off the highway with a special name?
Right off the highway with the special name. Oh, Mary Lou's, perhaps?
Doc something, maybe?
Doc something.
No, I don't know.
Now I feel like a...
bagels, coffee, blah, 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 I don't know.
Oh, I feel like I know what you're talking...
Green sign.
Yes. Green sign. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name. We'll have to ask them when they get back.
See, that's the true efficacy of corporate marketing. All you can think in your brain is Dunkin Donuts, Dunkin Donuts. You can't even think of anything else. Can't even conceive of standing up on a chair to change my perspective on this room. I can't even... No, I'm just riffing.
Exactly. Caffeine and capitalism have trained me for sure.
Into a super conglomerate.
I couldn't think of anything more powerful. It's a little bit scary. But so you're playing all these living rooms, which, again, really cool concept. What would be a dream venue for you to play? If you could sort of pick one.
Dream venue? I mean, to be honest, I would love to perform on a late night show like Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel or something. We've not done that in America yet.
Really?
That's my dream. Yeah.
Huh, I just kind of would have assumed.
I know. Well, we're around, but no one asked us to dance.
No one asks us to dance. See, I could totally picture you on Ellen. That would be like the perfect fit.
Yeah, I know.
She gets behind these bands that no one's ever heard of, then sends them into the stratosphere. So maybe this next record,
maybe
be out there.
I'm gonna keep plugging away till one day somebody, puts me on TV, and then I'll be like, cool, I got on TV, and then I'll be happy to just make music in obscurity for the rest of my life.
Well, we're all looking forward to hearing more from you, that's for sure. And you set out on this tour. It had to be a little bit nerve-wracking because you don't know exactly what you're getting yourself into. What was the biggest worry before heading out on the road?
What was the biggest worry? The biggest worry was is the van gonna work?
It usually is, yeah.
Because, it had been sitting on the street in Brooklyn for the past 6 months, basically all winter. And you never know what's gonna happen with it. So, yeah, I mean the first morning, three mornings ago when we got it out, I knew it was going to start because I've been keeping up with the battery, checking on the battery throughout the winter. Once a month I would go start it. But, it just immediately started misfiring or something, and I started losing power, and I was like, oh, we might miss the first show. And, but somehow there's this amazing garage right in Williamsburg, in the heart of gentrified neighborhood of Brooklyn, and somehow they always have time to look at your car right away and then fix it right away. And then they're really nice, and it doesn't cost that much money. It's like, what? I don't understand how they do that business. They're super, super Italian, so maybe they're just maybe it's just a front. Maybe we don't even need this business. We're connected. So, but they're super nice. So I knew immediately I was going to take it right there, and they fixed that, and we made it in time for the show.
Perfect. The mom and pop shops, always the best service, whether it's a record store, whether it's a garage.
It feels good supporting them. Yeah,
it does. That I can break away from my caffeine and capitalism, which is always a nice change of pace.
We should, yeah. Don't patronize Dunkin Donuts. I said their name. That helps them.
Said their name, or the other one with a green logo of a goddess type figure. Don't go to that one either. I think people know what we're talking about too.
Yeah, but now they have archetypes on their side.
That is true. They win.
They have the Mother Gaia. The people instinctively want to worship at the altar of Mother Gaia. And is it Gaia? Yeah. Gaia and Pangea. Sometimes I get those confused. Anyways, people are instinctively drawn to the archetype of the mother. And so they're yeah, I'll give Starbucks my money. It feels right.
It feels right. It feels nurturing to do so. Wow, I never thought of it that way. That definitely colors my perspective.
No, I'm just bullshitting. It's fake.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes me feel a little bit better. I felt very stupid there for a brief moment. It happens often.
I mean, archetypes do drive our behavior and our dreams and our lives, and everything is a symbol. But I'm really stretching with the Starbucks thing.
Touche. Now, have you been writing while you've been on the road at all? Because I have a feeling that you... No? Okay.
I can't do that. I don't even try. I tried one time. I mean, I made one thing on the road, and that was my rap mixtape. And that was just kind of easy because, you could do all the production on your computer with your headphones on. Mm-hmm. And, all the sampling and making bass lines and drum beats. And then you can write the raps in your head and sort of just all they have is a rhythm to them. You don't need to sing and hear yourself sing. And you don't need to record your voice per se. And I did the voice recording. I should because it's a mixtape, it was just easy to, accept a low quality sound quality and just be it's just whatever. So I wouldn't want to do that for songs. I want to have I want to do my best writing, and that I've ever done when I'm writing songs. And there's just not enough time to focus on that kind of thing when I'm on tour at all. So it's just accepted that it's the dichotomy that of the music life is that when you're touring, you're just touring, and you can have fun, but you can't participate in that, going further than you've ever gone before as a songwriter. And that's always what it's about. That's what keeps me going as a songwriter, is what could I do that I haven't done? What's the next? What am I inspired to go now? And when I'm in that, that's really what I'm in it for. If I had to choose between that and touring, I would definitely choose the Odyssey of songwriting.
And so what drove that Odyssey for your upcoming album? What sort of got you inspired again to write?
Getting my heart ripped out, getting dumped super hard.
Oh,
we were
I'm
just
sorry.
talking about it actually. Tim, yeah, it's a long story, but yeah, I was having a really hard time getting the creative process started again after our last tour cycle, because like, you know, you tour and you turn off the creative valves, and then you want them to open up again when you have the time, but they don't. So you kind of just try to grease the wheels and get the drip to start trickling, and I was really struggling there. I was like composed some classical pieces. I was listening to Wagner's Tristan Prelude or Overture or whatever you call it. I was listening to that a lot and just stretching, and made some of that, and I made some electronic stuff, and I tried to like maybe compose some stuff for some commercials just because I wasn't feeling inspired enough to like make my own thing. I was like, I can still make music and make money and feel good about my life if I'm participating in that. So like I hit up this person, Amanda, who works at like an ad music placement production house, and I was like, well, hey, I want to do stuff. And she was like, okay, well, here you can compose some like very sexy masculine instrumentals for this KY lubrication product. Sexual lubricant product. And
Living the
hell
dream.
yeah. And you know what sounds they wanted to hear? They wanted to hear basically anything that sounded like the Black Keys.
So any record Dan Auerbach has ever produced ever, pretty much?
Yeah, that's what they wanted the sound of. And they were like, no like 70s like cheesy wah-wah saxophone. None of that. But
Fever.
But like Black Keys, like distorted drums and bass, and I was like, oh yeah. So I had a blast doing that, but then I didn't really get my songwriting off the ground until the girl that I was seeing just was like, nope, I'm not into it, and just left very suddenly, and we were really getting along, and I still don't understand it. But I have enough songs now.
And I imagine writing the songs sort of at least helps the understanding process a little bit.
You know, it doesn't because I don't understand anymore. I need her to understand, and I need her to report on her inner experience to me in a way that I can connect to what my sense of her was when we were together for 3 years. Because I had it was funny, you know, she was really, it was a strange thing for the breakup to come out of the blue like that for me, because she really seemed like someone who was really, and I know she is someone who's really capable of enjoying herself and enjoying her life and being present. And to me, that goes hand in hand with just like knowing what you want or being in touch with yourself. And then the only way that I could make sense of how this breakup came out of the blue was just like, she must have not been as in touch with herself or what she was feeling or what she was wanting. And she must have been like maybe like lying to herself on some level about us or the life that we were trying to make work together. And we had a lot of logistical problems, so really it just came down to that, I think. And she was just ready to bite the bullet, and I was just more like almost on an experimental level, just more committed than I'd ever been in my life. So it just really hurt.
I'm sorry to hear that. My I can't wait for the album, but I am sorry to hear that.
Yeah, some of the better songs though are like from the person that I met more recently, and there's like a fair amount of songs about her too. And those are some of my favorites actually, because why I like is like the second half of the writing is always the better half of my like writing crop per album. And so as it happened, I mean, I didn't have anything to say until I got dumped, and then I started to have some good stuff come out then. And then the second half, I actually did meet someone who wanted to, you know, hold my face a little bit. So that was cool.
Is it sequenced that way on the album? Is it like
I
the
don't
first
know. The
half
sequence
and then...
is still like up in the air a little bit, but it won't be out till like maybe January, February, or something of next year. But
okay.
But because I finished it, and because, you know, it's the summer, I wanted to do some shows and be proactive and grind. So that's what we're doing.
Of course. Now, this is sort of a bizarre question, but do you always sort of set out to write poppier music, or does it just sort of come out in more of a pop way?
Yeah, it's very conscious. I mean, I really like noise, and I could jam and make noise music and share it. I just feel like it's just not gonna. There's maybe like one person that would really get off on it, and so I just don't bother. I mean, I don't even really get off on listening to other people's noise music that much. I like to listen to pop music because it has that potential to like really get you stoked, get you excited, and give you a booster shot of energy. And that's kind of my favorite thing that I'm always I try to stay away from like slower, sadder songs, just because I feel like A, that's kind of easier to write, and B, it doesn't give me the energy that I'm looking for when I turn on Spotify. So I do consciously try to put that energy into it, and that structure, the pop format, I feel like is just the most effective way of like getting that energy, communicating that energy, and that's definitely my intention. Yeah.
Now, this might sound a little bit weird, or it might sound like an insult, but it certainly isn't that way. But when I hear a song like Radar Detector, always my favorite song of the summer, no matter what summer it is. I remember very distinctly I was listening to it on a beach. One of my friends put it on, and from the moment I heard it, I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's this song. And then it just sounds like it was written very quickly. Like that just sort of came to you and it got onto the paper. But after speaking to you, it really seems like you are the type of person that kind of, that you sit with songs for a while. So how does something like that, that just sounds like so like ephemeral in the moment, is it like that for you, or do you really sort of...
I mean, the process I feel like takes me a long time. I mean, my top speed is like one song per month.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just the speed that I can write at. But it's not that I'm poring over the process. In fact, if I'm spending too much time on a song, I can tell that that's evidence that the song is whack. But the process itself does take that long. Just some type of gestation or something where, for each song there's a different bundles, clusters of musical ideas, and like whether it be chord progressions or melody ideas or production ideas, like there's things that I'm exploring in each song at in real time during the writing of that song. And then if it goes well, I get really excited about it and I like the song.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need time to fall out of love with the song before I can write the next song, because I have to kind of get bored of the ideas that I just used. Otherwise, if I try to write something else too soon, I'm just gonna try to rip off the song that I just made because it's so good.
True.
So it doesn't take me a long time to once I start writing, but it does take me a long time to sort of fall out of love with my last song. So Radar Detector was kind of written a little bit fast. I did sit on it for a while, and actually I kind of never really came to a conclusion with like the verse melody. I was like, I guess that's okay, I don't know. But it just was towards the end of the album crop for that album, so it was kind of just like, well, it's good, I guess.
Proving your point that the best writing comes at the end.
Yeah, that was towards the end. DNA was towards the end, right? I think DNA I wrote right before that, and Bad Day was towards the end. Bad Day, the chorus of Bad Day was something that I held on to for a long time. I had that, and I didn't know what I was going to do with that, and so sometimes I'll hang on to a chorus for a very long time. The chorus of 1-800-HUMAN was also one that I sat on for a long time, just because I didn't know, what I was going to do with it, or I didn't have time or something, I think, in that case. But
well, wonderful. And then one of the things that I really also appreciate about your music are the music videos. They're always so creative, and you just seem like a very creative guy. Is there a specific place where you get ideas? Like, is there like a space that you're in where all of your good ideas, creative ideas come to you?
Young professional directors.
Young professional directors.
Yeah, I'm actually not, look, my involvement in the videos is I have like this great management team in the UK, and they're like have their fingers in many pots, and they have their feelers out, and they know where the like those directors are that are at the midpoint between like talent and like being like blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
We're indie, like we're truly indie. We never spent more than like $25,000 on any video.
Wow. That
we ever did. And why that is because these directors that worked with us were both super talented and just down to support us, and just down to like take no money on it. And Canada doesn't have to do that. you know, or the directing team Canada,
Mm-hmm.
or who are those French guys? Megaforce. They don't have to do that because they paid their dues in the industry. Now Megaforce can, you know, get $250,000 from Kid Cudi or whatever to do a video, and why wouldn't you if you're at that stage? So the reason why we have great videos is my management team. They know where the directors are, and then what we do is, look, I have ideas for videos, but I don't have the know-how that these directors do. I don't have the team. I don't have, like, you know, the familiarity with actual visual format. And so what we do is we give them free reign. We say, look, you're not going to get any money, so at least have the total creative freedom to do what you want. And they'll pitch the idea, and I'll go, great. And then I find, like, the more I stay out of it from that point, the better the video turns out, is because let them have their vision and do it. And that's what I've learned is, like, yeah, I've got ideas for videos. I'm a quote creative guy, but, like, visual is not actually my personal strong suit. And so I found that, like, just getting out of the way, hiring talented people who are hungry and want to do stuff and we can afford, and then just getting out of their way and giving them the creative freedom, which is kind of the only thing that we can afford to give them. And that has worked out well for us in lots of cases. So.
And that was one thing that I sort of noticed when I was reaching out to coordinate this, that your management team was based in the UK, which I found really cool as well.
Yeah, well, you say as well, but there's no, like, team here in America, really.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's just me.
Just you.
There's no, well, that's not true. We have a booking agent.
Mm-hmm.
But our lawyer kind of ghosted us or something. I'm not sure if he wants to work with us anymore. But he was awesome. Maybe he would if I showed up. I think he's the same lawyer, or was the same lawyer as Kool AD from Das Racist. And their band broke up. But I was talking to Victor about it, and he was like, you know, Grable's like a really nice guy. You should just show up, and he would, like, help you out if you needed it. And I was like, yeah, he is a really nice guy. But yeah, there's not really super many team members here in the United States. We don't have a label here. We don't have any management here on the ground. We'll hire a PR team for like $3,000 a month, like when the albums come out, for like a few months around that when we're touring and everything. But other than that, there's, you know, it's not a big machine here. The UK is really small, and so the guys that we work with there, like, know everyone, and that's how we've, you know, gotten anything done, is because that they decided to, like, talk about us to everyone there. And, you know, they got us on Zane Lowe's radar and NME's radar, and, you know, they've done everything for us as a band. And so, and they're super nice people that I love working with, and I trust them, and I always want to work with them. So, you know, it's finding people who want to join that team, as opposed to, like, you know, let's take this over and, you know, run it our way. And it's like, no, these are my people that I want to work with. So if anyone wants to join, but I don't know, there's just less and less money in music label management, that side of it. So
very true. And I feel like those bagels are back at this point, so this will be my last question before I'll let you go.
Right.
At the beginning, you mentioned sort of something very interesting, like, I think the album is done. When do you know when an album is done? Is there, like, a moment that, or like a sign that sort of comes to you that goes, all right, this is...
I mean, I'm usually I usually write, like, I usually don't have any leftovers. So once I get to the number 10, I'm like, I quit.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Or maybe I'll go to 11. But I only recently did I actually start having some, like, stuff that I was like, this is good, but maybe not essential. And generally it's just like, oh, it's time to put something out. Like, we should put something out for career purposes. And, you know, I always have sufficient time to generate stuff that I feel good about. But, you know, once I just have, like, enough songs, that's kind of it. And I also just kind of got to a point creatively where I was like, yeah, I just don't feel inspired to necessarily make more songs right now. I have enough. I would rather, like, my dream is to, you know, have success in music. So, you know, I'd like to maybe just work on some other angles of it right now, you know, i.e. touring and promotion and networking and other bullshit, and, you know, do that for a little while and just kind of rest the sponge. So, yeah, as the spirit moves me.
Totally. And then I did lie, but I promise this is the last one. Who are you listening to right now? Who has been sort of on the aux in the tour van?
Well, I wish we had an aux. We don't have anything
there
we're
we go.
listening to in the tour van, but Knower, I like them. Lewis Cole, and Jake Sherman, guy from Brooklyn that I've been listening to a lot, who I saw open for them when I went to see them in a bar in Manhattan. That's who I'm listening to.
Nice. Well, you should be listening to Double Down by Darwin Deez. Keep your eye out for new music, and he's touring all across the country in living rooms this June, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Darwin, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.